is karma? Exactly. What is up, Alien Army? I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. And on this channel, we discuss everything out of this world. So today's topic, I was just filming another video in regards to karma a little bit. I do have another video on here about karmic relationships. If I remember, I'll link those below. But I was guided to share this with you because there are a few different messages that I want to convey here from what I've channeled. What is karma exactly? Karma is not the stereotypical, what you hear a lot in the 3D realm, like, oh, they're gonna get their karma or whatever the fuck. Karma is actually an agreement, a bind, a contract that two or more souls make prior to entering their physical 3D vessel. And in that agreement, in that karma, they have a set path that they want to explore together via help from the other individual. So let's say we're talking about a karmic relationship. Now, a karmic relationship does not necessarily have to be romantically based. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. A karmic relationship can be a romantic partner, it can be a relative, it can be a friend, it can be a co-worker, it can be a random motherfucker. So I do just want to make it clear that I am going to be getting into a few topics. We're going to be talking about, like, let's say someone who is murdered or someone who is born into poverty and things like that. We don't do triggers here, so if that's going to be something that's going to set you off, then perhaps this is not the video for you.
Very quick and wonderful shout out to today's sponsor, Mr. Motherfucking Morningstar, aka Lucifer, the light bearer. Others might know him as Satan or the devil. But around these parts, we admire Lucifer's ventures into diving into the 3D Earth Matrix to carry the torch, light the way to the seeker along their journey through the darkness so that they might attain enlightenment. If you are having difficulty seeing in the dark, if you want your nocturnal vision to be restored and regenerated and rejuvenated, call upon Mr. Motherfucking Morningstar, the light bearer. He will hold that torch for you. All you have to do is say his name 3 times, click your heels, and he might or he might not appear to you in the physical, but he will definitely appear to you in the metaphorical. Thank you, Mr. Motherfucking Morningstar, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the show.
Here is from what I've channeled, what resonates with me. If you see things differently, then please continue to do you, boo, because that's what you're here for. You're here to do what resonates with you. I'm here to do what resonates with me. So let's get started. Karma can be in the form of any type of relationship. It can even be in someone that is not personal to the individual. A karmic bond, a karmic tie is 2 or more souls that they agree they want to experience something whilst they are residing in their 3D physical vessel during this lifetime or whatever lifetime. So let's say you have a toxic relative and you really don't get along with them and you've just always hated them. They've always hated you, whatever the fuck it is, right? You never got along, you never meshed. Now, what does that mean? Someone might be thinking,
well, I don't have any bond with them because they're a stupid motherfucker and hell no.
They might be thinking the same thing about you. But the thing is, when someone awakens a lot of hostile emotions that you have never felt before, or emotions of perhaps even love that you've never felt before, that is a karmic tie, that is a karmic bond, that is part of the karmic agreement. Because the only way for this karmic bond to really solidify is for the intense emotions that it's going to bring out. Think about it. If it was a random motherfucker that you didn't give a fuck about and you don't have a karmic tie with them, you're not even going to experience intense emotions for that motherfucker. You're not going to experience intense love. You're not going to experience intense rage or hatred or anger. The karmic relationship is going to bring out these strong emotions in order to cleanse you of whatever is holding you back in that area. It is a common misconception that karmic relationships cannot ever be healed, because the whole point of the karmic relationship, you might cross paths with someone who is karmically intersected with you because of that prior soul agreement, and you might be done with it in one shot, but there might be oddities. Like, you might have had a similar life path, you might have the same amount of siblings, you might be born on the same day. You're going to notice something about this karmic person, that they have a similar backstory to to you, but then you meet them and then boom, it's explosive, but then you work it out after and everything is smooth. For other examples, it might be the same situation. There might be similarities in your path, similar life stories, same birthday, or you might just have a lot of commonalities that are weird. You meet them and then it's like, whoa, some weird thing happens. It might be explosive and crazy, but you're gonna still carry it with you. The energetic remains of that person, even though you don't speak. You might not speak for them. You might not have communication with them for many, many years, but somewhere in the back of your mind, it's like the energy of that individual is lingering, and then you meet up again, boom, it's an even bigger explosion, and then you don't have communication for another amount of years, and then you meet up again because the energy is still there. The karmic contract has not been fulfilled, because if the karmic contract has been fulfilled, you can have sunny green motherfucking pastures and white picket fences with this motherfucker as long as you've solidified that karmic agreement, because it's like, we had a contract that we were going to do this to help you evolve and to help me evolve, but if that ain't happening, then we gonna meet up again, motherfucker, whether it's in this lifetime or the next. That is a karmic bond.
So
it might play out differently for different individuals in your experience. You might have one karmic person that you meet up, it's explosive, but then you smooth things over and everything is good. You might have another karmic partner where it keeps going around and around until the karma is cleared, and it might not even be cleared in this lifetime. It might be cleared in another lifetime. You see what I'm saying? Or it might be cleared in this lifetime, but then you agree to meet up again in another lifetime so that you can enjoy yourself with them from a more elevated state.
witch doctor.
There can be all different types of karmic agreements. It's going to depend on the individual, but this is what a karmic relationship is. It's going to cause you to have explosive emotions. They can be love-based, they can be fear-based, but it's going to be something that you never experienced before, and that is how you're going to know it's a karmic. You're also going to know it's a karmic because, as I said, there's going to be weird similarities, synchronicities. It's going to seem like the universe conspired to have you meet this motherfucker, and it depends on where your evolution is at. Something explosive can happen, and then, as I said, the smoke is cleared, the karma is done. You two decide that you want to continue journeying as friends or lovers, or as like your siblings, and you made up and you want to be cool after that. Whatever it is, that's fine. But there can also be karmic relations where if you, let's say right now, you suspect that you are in a karmic situation, you can tell because it's like there's no reason why this motherfucker's energy would be even lingering around you. There's no logical reason, but yet there's like this weird type of draw to that individual's energy. Their face might pop up for you, or you might see their name when you're not thinking about it. It's that's signaling that yes, that karmic energetic bond is still there and it needs to be fulfilled. So how you know when a karmic agreement has been fulfilled? You're just gonna know it. I know that sounds very cliche, but you're gonna know it because you're not gonna be overly stimulated either which way, either love-based or fear-based emotions. You're not gonna be overstimulated anymore when you think of them or when you're with them or if you cross their path. It's just gonna be neutral. That's how you know the karma has cleared. And karmic relationships, they might not necessarily all bad. They might seem explosive in the moment, but you'll notice, especially with the karmic, that they are teaching you something about yourself whilst you are in that explosion. Because after the explosion, after the debris settles, you're like,
Whoa.
I learned this, and you wouldn't have learned that had it not been for that karmic individual. And sometimes it might be learning like what traits you don't want to possess in yourself anymore that perhaps you were carrying, and that karmic displayed it overtly, but you were having those traits on the inside. Now you're like, whoa, I had those traits within me. That's why I was able to attract that to me. They were displaying it on the outside, what I already had going on within. I don't want that anymore, so I'm gonna be done with that situation. Like you're gonna typically, depending on how many karmic cycles you have with this individual, perhaps in this lifetime where you remember, you know what I mean? You might be like, whoa, every time something explosive happened with this individual, I learned something about me and I grew and evolved and I shed some of my skin, and now I am being reborn into a more ascended version of me.
Witch doctor.
And the same thing is happening with them as well, because it's mutual, okay? Any relationship is always mutual because there's always like a balance of two. what I also want to touch on, because I've seen some of this in like the spiritual community, whatever, touching on what about like if someone is a serial killer, do they have any type of karmic bond with their murder victims? And the answer is yes. So this is not something that a lot of people really, I haven't seen a lot of motherfuckers talk about. I've just seen maybe like speculation, but like it's considered too taboo to talk about. So I don't know, I'm just going to touch on it briefly just because it has to do with this. This has to do with if someone has such a bond, like if someone's life was cut short prematurely, that is also an agreement that their soul made. Maybe their ego didn't realize it. Maybe individuals close to them don't want to believe that, but that's the case, because from what I've channeled, everyone chooses when they die. I don't know if I should drop that, leave that alone, take the mic up. Where's the mic? The mic is on the camera.
Either which way.
So this is really what it is. Everyone chooses when they die, and a lot of times when you see like psychics that are communing with individuals who have crossed over, they will let their loved ones know that they are at peace, even though it seems like they were taken immaturely, but it happened for them. Okay, so this is what happens. Like, let's say there's a serial killer and they have multitude of victims. Yes, that is a karmic bond, because I said karmic bond could be two individuals or more. So let's say one serial killer had a karmic bond with these, I don't know, 80 victims, let's say. Are they a victim, or are they just fulfilling something that their soul chose? Now, this is strictly from what I'm channeling. I know this might be a sensitive topic for some, but this is what I channeled. As I said in the beginning, if you don't like it, then this ain't the video for you. This is what I've channeled in regards to karmic connection, so I'm adding it to this video because that's what was conveyed to me. A serial killer, let's say he, 80 people are now dead prematurely before their time as they speak, right? There was still karmic bond there. What's going to happen in the next lifetime? Now, the serial killer might be someone who is taken out prematurely, or something is going to happen with them that is going to balance the karma of them taking out those 80 people that he murdered or she murdered. Okay, so yes, karmic bonds can be even for individuals that don't know each other personally, because with serial killers, some examples, I'm not going to name any, they just they roll up, they just shoot someone in the head and boom, they're off. Did they know them? Did they, you know what I'm saying? They might not even have stalked that person before. They just saw them and it was random, but it's not random. Nothing is random in the universe. It might appear that way to the ego mind, but nothing is random. I just want to touch on that. And the last thing I'm going to touch on in regards to this, like karma and different lives, I see this a lot also mentioned in the spiritual community. Like, let's say someone grows up in extremely awful circumstances or severe poverty, right? Like, let's say there's a third world country and, you see the stories. We don't know how much of it is legit going by the mainstream media, but it does exist to an extent. So someone might ask, well, if everyone is choosing their path, why did they choose to be born into such a shitty situation? That is an example of like a karmic bond. So let's say someone was born in a shitty situation and they only had their sibling, and it was just the two of them, but they like helped each other, and even though they were living in an impoverished situation, the two of them had each other so that they could go through it together. Let's say they die from whatever circumstances in regards to their living situation or their caretakers or something like that. That's still a karmic bond, again, with everyone who was involved, but those are also those who are incarnating and they just are in such extreme circumstances. Those, as what is conveyed to me, are young souls. They're not old souls, because young soul, they don't necessarily know what they're getting into with the earth matrix. Of course the soul knows from many different levels, but they're just like, okay, whatever. It's sort of like, do you really want to incarnate on earth? Sometimes it's a picnic, you can make it into a heaven, but like, you sure you want to go down there? These are souls that they kind of cannonball into the swimming pool without testing the temperature of the water first. And that's what has been conveyed to me in terms of individuals that they're born into these situations of like extreme abuse or extreme poverty. They're younger souls, but trust and know that it's also something that is going to evolve them, so that the next time, let's say they want to visit the earth matrix again, they've already experienced that, so now they want to elevate upwards and upwards and upwards. So this might be another video, I don't know. I haven't received too much information on that, but because it has to do with the karmic thing I'm talking about, I figure I would touch on these two topics. So that's what I got for you today. I'm Oculus, the alien next door. We will chit chat again soon.